What's up, you guys? This is Robert at Shy Bear Plus with my co-host.
Jeff, you can find me at Twitter at +_shy.
That's right. So this YouTube channel is Shy Bears Plus. You can follow me at Shy Bears Plus on Twitter. Also Shy Bears Plus on Instagram. Dank memes, commentary, Bears. Not exclusively Bears. We will be coming with some other stuff too. But primarily Bears talk information. What we want to talk to you guys about today was the Khalil Mack trade to the Bears. Jeff, first of all, man, where were you when it happened, and tell me about how it felt?
Yeah, it was, I don't want to say surreal for something that's just a football trade, but
Right.
It was really strange. I was at work, actually, and SportsCenter was on, and I'm having a conversation with one of the golfers there, and I just happened to look over at the TV screen, and there it is on the bottom line, big red background. Bears acquired Khalil Mack in a trade, and that was like nothing else existed at that point. That guy wasn't there anymore, and I was just trying to read if I could get any details on what the trade offer was or who was proposed, etc., like that. And then I kind of started running through all the scenarios of, is he in shape already? Has he been working out? What is the contract? Are we offering a contract? Got to be offering him a contract. What's that like? That's got to be huge. Aaron Donald just got the highest defense paid contract ever. So, that you had all these different things that just like rushed through my head in 30 seconds. And it was a real crazy experience. And I just really look forward to seeing how it turns out.
So me, literally, I was a lazy bum. I woke up early in the morning, went back to bed. I wake up, and I get a text from you in the group chat, and I'm like, what? He's playing, right? Come on, seriously. So I
wasn't playing.
I jumped on Twitter, and it was real. And I was like, what? Are you serious? It had to be something like that. Like, I was seriously so geeked. I couldn't even control myself. I was shaking. And I'm like, oh my God, like what? Did they figure out a contract? What is this? What's going on? And it was Twitter all day after that, making dank memes, going through the dankest of the dank memes, trolling people on Twitter, showing Bears love, getting out there with Bears Nation. Did a little bit of scoping. It was my birthday also, so it was probably one of the best birthdays in recent history.
I thought of that
for sure. I'll definitely never ever forget it. That's for sure. But anyway, so then we found out later on in that day what the deal was as far as the trade was. So I'll try to go through it real quick. The Bears got Khalil Mack, a second pick in the 2020, and in 2020 they also got a 5th round conditional draft pick. The Raiders got the Bears 2019 first round pick, 2020 first round pick, 2020 third round pick, and a 2019 6th round pick. Personally, I'll just keep going real quick before I have you chime in, but I thought it was highway robbery. At first, I actually didn't even know we were getting the 2nd round pick, and I was like, wait, hold on a second. If you're the Bears and you're making this deal because you think that you have amassed enough young talent, because this has been a rebuild, whether the Bears have been admitting it or not for the last 3 years. They've been trying to develop young talent on the roster to try to take the next step. So you're getting a transformational player for 2 first-round picks, and you think you're putting the finishing touches because you have Trubisky. And so in Ryan Pace's mind, he's going, yeah, I'll trade him to, 27 to 32nd overall picks for one of the best defensive players in the entire world. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Top 3 defensive player in the league right now.
And then I found out we got the 2020 second rounder as well. So now I'm giving you a 27 or a 27th to 32nd pick to. I feel like the Raiders got to be in the middle of a rebuild here. McGruden says, "Hey, I got 10 years, maybe. I don't know this, pure speculation. But hey, I got 10 years. If I'm going to rebuild and scrap this down how I want it to look, I might as well do that now before it's feasible for them to get rid of me in year 5. So, but that flip of the maybe the 5th round pick for the 27th overall pick isn't that much. That's like probably a 4th or a 5th rounder. So you basically just traded it back a little bit in that round, and it's like, I don't know how Ryan Pace didn't walk out of Halas Hall in handcuffs, because it was just ridiculous. But that was how I felt about the deal. What do you got for me, Jeff?
Well, just a little bit more about the notes or some nuggets of the trade. Ryan Pace in a presser today, he spoke about the quality of second-round picks. And if you look at the last year's draft with Anthony Miller and James Daniels, those are 2 potential starters as rookies. So you see what Ryan Pace could do with the second-round pick. And so those are nothing to sneeze at. But, like you just said, and your dank meme said earlier today or yesterday, how are you going to like those 2 32nd overall picks in the first or in 2019 and 2020 in those drafts, meaning that the Bears are essentially going to win the Super Bowl, and that those picks that the Raiders received they're not meaningless, but they're not, think about who those people have to become to equal Khalil Mack. If Khalil Mack continues on this, he's 27 years old, he's reaching his prime, seems very mature, very well-spoken. We'll kind of get into what I felt during his presser today and how that correlated with what maybe Oakland was thinking in the offseason. But just some great stuff with all that. Kind of lost my train of thought there, but
sure.
Let's kind of segue into the deal now that the Bears have the highest paid defensive player in the history of the NFL. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, and it works now. It reminds me of Seattle, where they were able to spread out so much money over their entire team, but they had a Russell Wilson who was in a rookie deal. So in 4 years, you're going to have to pay Trubisky, and then you might have a problem. And what was was it 6 years? Do you remember the years on Khalil Mack?
Yeah, something like that. I think
it's a little longer.
His age is from 27 to 32, so 5 or 6 years at 141.
So you're going to lose a little bit of your flexibility, and those are going to kind of come up against each other, right? So,
and that's like, if anybody brings that up, that's such a future problem. You want to kind of consider that, but win now, always.
Sure.
Now that we have some depth in the roster, when on our next Bearscope, we're going to break down roster cuts and practice squad, but you can see that there's depth finally starting to translate through these drafts, through the free agent process,
right,
that the Bears actually have depth. So, man, I wouldn't even worry about 3 years from now from rosters. You look at Roquan Smith, he's in a rookie deal. Leonard Floyd in a rookie deal. Like you said, Mitch Trubisky in a rookie deal. Now's the time to get that guy that you're going to pay, 35% of your defensive salary cap or something like that. Now is the time, especially when he's young. We did J-Pep was awesome and everything, right, but we almost got him a little bit on his trail end. Here, it's peak, and we got some really good things to come. And
Jerry
we'll kind of talk
tail
about
end.
if you want to kind of transition. Over the last couple of days, watching a lot of footage from Khalil Mack highlights and just breakdown of technique and his ability to play both defensive end and outside linebacker, but his ability to make those around him better. So if you want to expunge on that a little bit.
Sure. The dude fits in a 4-3, a 3-4. He is a transformational player for your defense. What really gets me excited, especially in a pass rush situation, is that he'll be probably playing like a 4-2 nickel type situation, and you have him and Floyd on the outside. They're both going to be blazing from the corners. And now we're talking about Hicks, who generates so much production from the middle of the defensive line interior. And then you have Bullard, and who I think will probably overtake that position, Roy Robertson Harris. All right, that's a problem. Now we have pressure from the outside. There's nowhere to escape. And we have pressure up the middle. Then you have Nick Kwiatkowski, who generates tons of pressure from the inside. PFF has him highly graded on inside pressure in the passing game from pass rushing. Roquan Smith, you can look at his highlight film. He got after the passer from the middle. He was too fast, too quick, too elusive, and getting around. So now, not only that, now you have flexibility. I could come off of both corners. I could drop, and even into the 3-4 situation, I could drop Floyd, or I could drop Mack. Or I could do my coverage with Smith and Trevathan. All 4 guys can cover. All 4 guys can get after it. You don't know where it's going to come from. Plus, Fangio's going to be using twists, and there's so much athleticism on that defensive line. And he likes to bring McManus, if he's in, which he's not, but Callahan, from the corner position. You don't know where it's coming from.
Kind of on that note, we're talking about depth. You even mentioned like the productivity that we got from the rookie outside linebackers in these most recent games in preseason, and
sure.
You are relying heavily on those guys to produce, especially early in the season. But now that you got Khalil Mack and Floyd on the other side, it just the Bears front seven was probably the strength of the defense. Especially heading on into this year, we really excelled in acquiring some talent at skill positions. So, maybe some of those skill sets or skill positions are up to par with the front seven of the Bears defense. But you had Mack, once again, top 3 defense player in the league. And just that overall depth that we're trying to acquire. Milo Powell, another 2017 draft pick of Ryan Pace. Just really, like you said, there's so much versatility, and any of these guys could cover, but any of these guys could bring pressure. And one of those things that I was thinking about earlier today was just that depth and how we're going to be able to substitute, and how that's going to be that's going to be great in the Khalil Mack transitioning process, especially in week 1, week 2.
Oh,
the guy's going to be going hard in the paint. He's probably going to wear out pretty easy. I really see them using him sparingly and maybe saving him a lot if it's a close game for the second half when you need him the most. But these guys are going to be so pumped up on a Sunday night, nationally televised football game. Dude, everybody's going to be fired up.
I was also thinking first half as well, third down, obvious pass rushing downs, because you don't have to tell the guy how to rush the passer. If he knows, hey, you got outside container, you're playing the outside, he knows what to do. You did mention technique too, unless you got something else, but go ahead.
No, sure, and you can break down his technique as well, but these are just some things that I saw on his YouTube was his speed, obviously, that he's able to get that corner and bend.
And get off.
Okay, so what that does is that's setting up that outside tackle for trying to get a first quick step back. Then you have, what he did is he put his inside arm on the tackle's
shoulder pads, arm bar.
One step. Yeah, he just used the momentum of the tackle, pushed him right away, quick rip move. Then you're inside. That's going to be huge after 2 speed rushes, and then you got maybe a 3rd and short where you got Rodgers and a quick 3-step drop where you can kind of dip in or stunt even a little bit there and get some internal pressure. So yeah, just he's not just sizzle. He's got to stay too.
Oh yeah, he's got it all, total package. I definitely seen him a lot with that stiff arm, and putting with one arm, putting guys on skates at the tackle position.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Bull rush.
It's like
leverage. So strong.
He plays super low. He's super fast. He the speed to power. Imagine trying to catch a 280-pound beast coming at you, trying to suffer with the quarterback. Now imagine he runs 2 times faster than everybody else. Well, all that inertia, and it just hits you like a ton of bricks. I'm glad I don't have to deal with it.
That's the reason why I'm behind a camera lens.
Yeah, that's right. And then like you're saying, the speed, the dip, and the hip flip around the corner, and he's got the inside moves as well. Total package. I think it's insane not to want to have this player on your team. I probably in January, if I were the Raiders, would have started figuring it out. I mean,
I think that's an excellent transition into kind of what I felt from Khalil Mack's own words at the presser today.
Sure.
I think the one thing that he made known the most is that he was just appreciative of feeling wanted, that the Bears wanted him to be there. You and I spoke briefly before the Bearscope here that What were the Raiders thinking? Well, I kind of think that the Raiders were saying, all right, you're a contractual employee of ours. You are under contract for $13 million. That's what you agreed upon 5 years ago, even though he didn't have a choice because the collective bargaining agreement, first round picks have a fifth round team option there. So he had nothing to do with that. That was all previously bargained before he was even drafted. So, I feel like the Raiders said, you signed the check or you signed at the bottom line. This is what you are. You agreed to it, $13 million, 2018. And John Gruden kind of was, I think, a little uppity or something along those lines, where I really don't think John Gruden reached out whatsoever. I haven't read anything that he has. Khalil Mack, I don't believe has said that he has, which is just the most asinine thing that you could ever do when starting or returning to a franchise or attempting to rebuild a franchise, to neglect your franchise cornerstone defensive player, especially one that's coming into his youth. But, I think he's really appreciative, but I don't think that there was any dialogue between him and the Raiders. The Raiders are like, all right, you coming to work? And he's like, nah,
bruh.
Just like Aaron Donald, the same thing that's going with OBJ. It's that fifth-year player option that was collectively bargained before these guys got out there, and their agents are saying, we need some more or long-term financial, just insurance on these guys that have produced for 4 years. What are you going to do for us now? And the Raiders were not at all willing to do that. And they spent all their free agent money early, and they kind of didn't think about, or maybe they did, and they already knew what was going to happen, but they spent a lot of money, so they really couldn't give, I don't believe, that super money that the Bears were able to give.
They had plenty of money to give to Jordy Nelson on some bad legs at 33 years old. How old he is.
Oh, muscle hamster. How many 30-year-olds did they sign there? They re-signed Lynch.
Gruden's grinders.
And that's kind of, if you look at the difference between the Raiders and the Bears and the franchises, that they have already allocated so much money to Carr with that second deal that he has as a quarterback. Yep. Now they're kind of handcuffed, and they can't give that money to, obviously quarterback's a super important position, but if your quarterback isn't going to be good, you got to get to the quarterback good.
Right.
And now that the Bears have a good quarterback that's under rookie salary, you could allocate those resources elsewhere. Kyle Fuller, Khalil Mack here. Akeem Hicks. It's exciting.
Pace also says he thinks he has room to extend Goldman and Amos.
Yeah.
Pace.
Yeah.
Pace is my guy. And Pace I trust.
Once again, that's a future thing.
Oh, yeah.
How are these guys really going to produce?
I feel like they've produced, and we don't want to be in the Khalil Mack situation. So I'm okay with extending those two guys. I feel confident in their play that they're extended. But back to the press conference, I wanted some more questions from the Chicago press. Like, why do you feel like you couldn't get the deal done in Oakland, or have you reached out? Did Gruden reach out to you? Ask those tough questions. Yeah. The worst they'll do is like, that's for my agent to answer or whatever. He's a professional. He knows how to blow you off. But you got to ask him. People want to know. They're kind of important questions.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, but I don't mind just giving this guy a million softballs just to start off with, make him feel real easy coming into this new situation. You got the season starting in 5 days, or what? Pretty close to a week.
What are you gonna ask him the day before the game? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey,
and maybe those are questions that are better asked to the Raiders.
Sure, some of that too. I feel you on that.
And I think Gruden is going to get questioned on that.
I think Gruden has some explaining to do.
Yeah, sure, right?
Right. It seemed like this was a team that was coming out who was adding veterans to make a run for the next couple of years. They're adding veteran talent, guys that are grinders, and then all of a sudden, now we're trying to build draft picks by not signing Khalil Mack. Like, how was the lack of foresight or what?
Maybe they totally misread this situation. thinking that, all right, he's still under contract, he's going to come and play, and we'll pay him $13 million. Where he's like, no, I want twice that for 5 times as long, and the Raiders might have just fumbled the heck out of it, and our benefit.
Yeah. Another thing,
Packers.
I had tweeted out when Matt says that he's confident. Well, I'm watching this press conference. And he's a competitor and he wants to be the best. Like, I believed him. Sometimes, man, I watch these athletes and I'm like, well, it's my confidence and, and I'm trying to be the best and I love competition. And you're like, oh, talking point. I believed him. I was like, oh, man. Like, I don't want to block this guy at all. Like, he's like, I want to face Aaron Rodgers. I want to face the best. So I was like, you know what? I actually felt like he meant it. So, which is kind of cool because you get so many talking points from all these guys. They get coached up. And then I like that he was like, yeah, Roquan Smith, he's a dog too. I remember watching highlights of him because I thought the Raiders might pick him up. It's like this guy's watching film on, the possible draft picks. This is a guy who loves football. He knew about, Singletary, Buckets, 8-5 Bears. Maybe didn't go super in depth into it. I mean, the guy just had a rough night. But you want guys like, I want him on my team. I want a guy who knows the NFL and cares about the position and cares about defense and cares about football in the NFL. I want him on my team.
Yeah. Perfect for Chicago Bears. Perfect for the NFL. Well-spoken individual who very articulate. He knew the history. Like you said, he knew player personnel both from rookies as well as like Kyle Fuller and Leonard Floyd. And you can tell how his leadership, how he's magnetic. He was talking about how there's a bunch of dogs. He can't wait to get with these dogs. And that just really pumped me up as well. And
I wonder if that's something that he said before, because I know the Bears have been saying that for the last 3 years. I felt like Pernell McPhee bought that here. And they've been calling it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the thing. I got these dogs. Well, they got a bunch of dogs, so they do draft out of Georgia quite a bit. So 3 guys, I think. But
good.
I don't know if that was. I wonder, but if he kind of just picked that up. But if he did, great. He's already assimilating. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
That was the main points that we were going to break down today. But overall, my final thoughts is I couldn't be any more excited to be a Chicago Bears fan. A combination of picking up Mack, the addition to this defense. We're taking a top 10 defense that was, I believe, 7th in sacks last year with no all-star pass rushers. You have to assume that we'll be pretty close to 1 or 2 in sacks, pressures, hurries, quarterback hurries, and then overall defense. And all that chaos is going to create more turnovers, interceptions, PBUs, quarterback sack fumbles, things like that, where we're talking about a serious defense. And I feel like the Raiders were sleeping on the Bears' offense. And they said, well, they got a rookie quarterback. They're not going to be that good. We'll get at least the 15th pick the next 2 years out of this. I don't think they realize that, in my opinion, Trubisky is going with the addition of scheming people open, and better talent on the offensive side, that you're looking at least a 7 to 12 overall offense. So you're putting together the best defense with that. You're talking about Jacksonville Jaguars. I have to adjust my tone because I was going, hey, I'm feeling like 9-7 will be pretty good for this team before Mac. So with health-wise, and we definitely need to do a before break down all the teams before this is all said and done. So you guys be looking out for that. If I could have your final thoughts, Chef, before I wrap this thing up.
No, that's it. Just a great week, great off season. Wow. Just a cherry on whatever. The Sherman's ice cream sundae.
And a foot up the Packers' backside all off season.
Fangio, Fuller. I keep thinking, how about it, right?
Dude,
twice. Fuller's in at Lambeau ready to sign or whatever, and this Mac was number 1 rated, Vegas odds to go to the Packers. So good. It's our turn to start taking over the NFC North. The other teams are on scholarship too, so really excited to see how this 2018 is going to break down. Like you said, we're going to be coming at you with Shy Bears Plus information. We're going to do a schedule breakdown, maybe best case scenario, worst case scenario, And we got to rethink about this whole schedule breakdown thing. Like you said, we were thinking 9-7
need to be redone.
is maybe the high water mark for this team. Now is 9-7 like expected? Is this a 10-6 team? Is this a team that could all of a sudden compete for the NFC North, or even run with the Rams or the Eagles or stuff like that? So looking forward to breaking that stuff down to game previews, post games. We haven't did our roster cut or practice squad edition here, Bearscope. So stay tuned for that. I'm Jeff with Shy Bears Plus, contributor, just a fan talking football. You can find me on Twitter at +_Shy. That's all she wrote from this side. Back to you, Bobby.
Yep, I was just going to ask you to do a little outro. But yeah, I'm Robert at Shy Bears Plus on Twitter. We both do quite a bit of Periscoping too, so maybe not a formal YouTube video, but impromptu. So you can check us out. Check us out on Periscope. Shy Bears Plus on Instagram. Yes, we do Bearscopes. Bearscopes on the Periscope. Crispy ones at
Boom.
that. So
hashtag patent pending. That's all she wrote.